Your video's off,
And my
Nancy.
video's off. Thank you.
No.
Oh, there's Susan. Great. Welcome, everybody. I'm Nancy Vandal, chairperson of the NCAC Bylaws Subcommittee, and I call the meeting to order at 9:02 a.m. I have no conflicts. I'm going to ask our committee members to please introduce yourselves and state any conflicts.
Michael Beachley, I have no conflicts.
Susan Schomburg, I have no conflicts.
All right, Tom, I'll go first. Second, third, fourth. Go ahead, Angelo. I have no conflicts.
Tom, so I have no conflicts.
Great, thank you. And Chad, I welcome you to the meeting, and could you please, this is open Oregon Public Meeting Law. I'm going to ask you to please state your name for the record. You'll have to unmute your mic.
Or not.
Or turn on your video and wave.
I must have stepped away.
Well, going forward, if you'd like to speak, it's a small group meeting, so please feel free, and we'd love to hear from you. All right. I'm gonna just close this AI thing. So I'm going to go to the agenda. Welcome, I hope you all have had a nice 3 weeks away. It seems like sometimes it's harder to be productive when we have the extra week, but lots been going on. So can everybody see the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, so just a reminder for Chad, because of OPML, all of our communications are public. They are videoed. And all of our documents are in the meeting folder that you use to register. So you can follow along with us as we go along, and they'll be on the screen. We're going to go through the minutes. Thank you, Michael, for sending those a couple of days ago. Actually, I think it was like 3 days ago, and got them right up. I have a fairly extensive report today, and then reviewing the bylaws and reviewing the PP&R. Actually, I want to go through the action item list and in there too, and then go through feedback session planning. I did draft last night, well, throughout the day and last night, a very drafty draft of a feedback session presentation for us to review and just see if we're on the right track. And if not, we'll adjust that. And because we have feedback sessions coming up. But we'd also need to set the dates, which we'll be in a better position to do, I think, after we go through this review. And then getting ready for tomorrow's membership meeting report. And then go back through the action items and see what we have as changes at the end. And then public comment, Chad, that will be your chance. But again, we're just going to relax the rules and let you go through that. So a calendar, we have firmed up the calendar on a few things. On Saturday, of course, tomorrow, we have our membership meeting at 10. I hope everybody can come. It's going to be a really exciting presentation of the roads report that we heard from, again, the name, Tom, help me out.
Is it Chris Laity?
Thank you, Susan. Yeah. Chris Laity is going to be giving a report on a major 20-year roads project, as well as just how roads are funded in Nescoen and that kind of thing. He attended the last community plan subcommittee meeting and gave there was a really interesting discussion for the community plan, but he mentioned this thing, and there's a major presentation or discussion time just for Nescoen on April 8th from 5:30 to 7:30 that he will also talk about. But I hope, please pass the word. Mm-hmm. So that should be really good. And then we'll have a little more extensive update. I don't want to go too long with it. I think he'll be the highlight. So anyway, hope everybody can come tomorrow. And then our next bylaws subcommittee meeting is in 2 weeks. And that will be right before, immediately before our first feedback session if we decide to do this. So I'm kind of going into my executive board report. We are going back to minutes, but in the executive board meeting, we talked about times, and of course, Michael and Tom were both there, so they've heard this, and it sounded like the times were okay with them. But to just do one on Friday night, February 20th, and the next one on Saturday morning, February 21st, just get them knocked out. The executive board wanted to just have a longer than usual executive board meeting on February 25th to go through their things. And of course, I'll go through their job descriptions with them too beforehand. But so those would be our 3 feedback sessions, unless we find that there's anything major that needs to be revised, and we might have one more at the end. We'll have then another bylaws subcommittee meeting to take note of any changes or from that. And at the same time, I think Sarah is going to be reviewing with the attorney these different things. And so we'll have input from her to then be prepared to go into our special membership meeting on March 14th. So in there, I put a tentative March 13th special bylaws subcommittee meeting if we think by February 6th, by February 20th, that we might need it. So if you could please, if there's no objection, could you please put that date on your calendar for kind of a final one? It would be immediately before our special membership meeting. I'm hoping we won't need it, but just in case as a placeholder, I'd appreciate your just sticking that on.
Is that on 13th?
Uh-huh.
Friday
Friday the 13th.
the 13th?
It is, and it's a lucky day, people.
And would it be at 9 a.m., Nancy?
Yes,
Okay.
it would also be at 9 a.m. So it's on the agenda that's in your meeting packet as well, but it's totally tentative. The feedback sessions are tentative. So later in the agenda, I have us actually setting dates. So I just wanted to give you a heads up before we got to all of that.
Okay.
And then a wrap up, hopefully, bylaws subcommittee on March 20th, and then we can talk at that point if we need to continue, depending on how everything goes on the 14th. And then today I've got a pretty major report from the meeting with Sarah that will affect maybe how we decide these things. But are there any questions about the agenda or any changes that you'd like to make to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, agenda goes forward. Okay, Michael's minutes. Did people have a chance to read Michael's minutes?
Good.
Yes.
Yes, good.
Okay, any changes to the minutes?
Mm.
Okay, the minutes are approved as presented. Thank you, Michael.
Welcome.
All right.
Mm.
So at this point, my report, I'm going to stop sharing. So the executive board meeting, we did talk about having Chris Leidy come in and give a presentation. And I think at the next meeting, we will have, at the next April membership meeting, Alex is planning to have somebody coming in from the water board, water district, to talk about different things happening with the water district. He was originally planning for February, but he really liked the idea of having Chris come in with this meeting coming up in April before the next membership meeting to be able to kind of tell people about what's happening. So, and he said there's some things happening in May with the water system that will make the speaker for the April meeting really, really good. So I think that was helpful. The board was pretty positive about, what we're doing and prepared to come in and hear everything in the feedback session for them. And they may attend our other feedback sessions too. But overall, I think things were positive. And Tom and Rand presented about the community plan, which is also going, I think, quite well. So I'm going to actually ask Tom to speak about the community plan stuff, if you'd like, Tom, and just give us a brief update, and then I'll talk about my meeting with Sarah.
Community plan, well, figured out how I was going to say this. Basically,
Okay.
what we need to do is bifurcate the community plan as we now have it written. Um, it's not really clear. Okay, we had a presentation from Chris Lady, and he pointed out that, and so did Sarah, that the community plan is actually a land use plan, and all the stuff we had in there about roads is a road use plan. And it's not the same document. I'm not exactly sure how we resolve that. I think we may wind up exporting some of the text we have to a different document, and that makes things confusing. I don't personally, I don't like the way it went. I'd rather have an integrated document. That doesn't seem to be what the community, the county wants. And we are creatures of the county. So they get to say what they will accept and what they won't. So that's the major thing. So we're winding up having to rethink everything that has to do with transportation, and it will probably be excised. That's something that Sarah and Chris are doing off to the side. We're going to skip one meeting with them and work on other things, and then they're going to come back and tell us what it is we meant to say.
Yeah, so one of the things, as I mentioned, they have a 20-year OSHA, Oregon, I guess it's OSHA, right? That's doing this 20-year plan on roads that Tillamook County is involved with, and they've asked for somebody from the NCAC to be appointed to represent us on that. And so Alex is working on that. Maybe somebody from the Midnight Pavers project might want to do
Apparently
that.
somebody from Nesquin has been involved. We just don't know who it was.
Well, I've gone through the list and nobody seems to know anybody on the list. So I did find the webpage with everything and Chris put it in the chat. So I'm not sure that. So anyway, apparently an email was missed where we were invited to participate, but it's not too late. And the main people who have been meeting have been a technical committee, and they're going to be starting meetings here shortly for another committee. So hopefully we get somebody appointed quickly for that. And I went back to the bylaws, and it sounds like Alex can just appoint. And, it'd be nice if we had somebody for the membership meeting, but Alex has the authority to just appoint somebody as chairperson. So
Nancy, is this for within the community boundary, or is it shed boundary that the roads are pertaining to?
It's all of the county, the whole county. So Chris gave a really interesting report on county maintained roads versus local roads and
local access roads.
Local access roads, and kind of the number of miles in each. I think it was 14 miles in the local access roads and 300 and some in the county maintained roads, but how they're handled differently. The county has jurisdiction over all of them. So anyway, he's going to go through that. He's going to go through the funding. He's going to go through all of that tomorrow. I think it would be a really interesting presentation. And I know it's a day a bit before, but if you have a chance to spread the word, I actually wrote an email yesterday, which is when I should have been doing this stuff, to get sent out, just to get something sent out about the program, because hopefully you all saw that came out yesterday.
I could put it on Nesquin and Friends just as a private citizen.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
That sounds very important.
Yeah. So and one of the interesting statements I'd heard was that the Midnight Pavers are aging out, and so they've been doing a ton of stuff over the years, and that we're going to need more people or something else to be done. He talked about different potential tax things. But yeah, for Tom and the plan, it was kind of interesting. And, at the same time, I think, Tom, they did say that there could be more things said about what Nesquin wants about roads within the plan, right? As just not maybe some things that they are concerned that it might cut off the options for them to get grants if things are worded some way. And but with other things, it might be able to help them.
That was he got a little bit editorial on that, but basically what we need to guard against is specificity. We need to make general statements of what we would kind of like this sort of thing. That way they have enough, yes, yeah, that's why you may laugh at that.
I did.
Um, because if you're too specific, then it might exclude you from some grant or some other governmental thing. Whereas if you're kind of woolly, then you actually can say, well, really, what we really meant was. And so as a technical editor, I find this to be disturbing.
I thought you handled yourself very well, though, Tom. Very well.
I did. Oh, I'm glad. Because I was churning inside.
I know. All right. So, well, thank you for that update. But I think overall, it seemed like the committee's gelling a little more overall.
Yeah, I mean, they're happy with it. I'm just the editor doesn't have to be happy with it that much.
Okay.
I had coffee. I think I have to switch.
Okay. Well, appreciate that. So, also in the executive board meeting, we determined that, because nobody stepped forward at this point yet for chairperson and secretary, we're just going to defer all that to April, make an announcement that we're searching for people for all positions. And in April, 2 of them would be 1 year chairperson and secretary, and 2 of them would be 2 year because it would be the normal time. And that would be vice chairperson and treasurer. So, and Rand made a note that there is somebody who just retired, and I know who that is. So we may have some possibilities for someone to take over, and we also have somebody who could be interested in secretary too. So it's all is not lost. I think there's some real positive things happening, and hopefully having these presentations and programs at the meetings that aren't just bylaws and community plan are going to draw people in.
Yeah.
So going on to my meeting with Sarah, she made time to meet briefly yesterday late and to go through what we're talking about. And she ended up spending more time than she had originally thought she would, which was very generous of her because she is just so snowed with work. But we made a lot of progress. And what we did was go through the action item list so she could see what we have been doing in general. And then we went through the bylaws proposals. And I just used the version we had from the last meeting because I haven't seen an update on that wording. So, but that was just as well because she had some comments. So I'll go through that with you. And then we went through the PP&R version 13 that Tom had done after our last meeting. And thank you so much, Tom, for all that work. And I had highlighted certain areas to go through with her just to be able to get through time quickly. And she had some really interesting feedback on some of the things, particularly social media and some of the voting stuff and some others as we went through. So I plan to just go through all of that with us because we don't have a lot of other updated information, I don't believe. Tom, had you received any updated information on the PP&R draft?
No, that slacker editor didn't do his homework.
Well, that's okay. Tom, the Slacker editor was kind of busy with some other things, so it's fine because this actually worked out. By being able to get this input from Sarah, this is really where we're going to have the changes anyway. I was so happy that we were able to connect. So we'll go through that today. And I think actually overall, she was very positive with what we're doing and commended us, asked me to thank you all. She may pop in today. She has another meeting today, but she's going to try to pop in if she possibly can. And but overall, it was a very positive meeting as usual with her. So one nice thing is that it looks like the PP&R wasn't actually submitted to the attorney before. So this version of it can be the original version as far as the county is concerned. We don't have to worry about lining out, redlining changes or anything like that for the county, which I'm very, very happy about. Yeah, so we're good there. We just need to present the original document again, but apparently there's a new county attorney. So
Uh-oh.
yeah.
No. Changing attorneys is always bad.
Well, apparently this was planned. He retired, and I think there was some.
Plan, not plan, don't care.
Okay, you're in a good mood today, Tom. Anyway, it could end up being a good thing, but she said she could just tell them that they'd already approved this other stuff, so it hopefully she was positive about it. So they also apparently have a new county treasurer. Or no, they're getting one. There is an assistant treasurer at the moment. So anyway, I'll go through that. But that affects some of the stuff we're doing too. So that's all I have on my report. Do you have anything before we actually get into the meat of the meeting? Anyone else want to share about? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share the overall action plan. And I did a version for Sarah here. So this isn't actually in your packet. The wording all is in your packet, but I'd highlighted some things that I wanted to make sure that we talked about. So we talked about we went through all the minute stuff, and she was actually fine with all of that. She was fine with the leaves of absence. We'll go through the actual amendments and everything, and she had some comments on the voting. She did have some comments on the minutes that she feels kind of like the video is the main document, the official document. And it sounds like for their purposes, when they're in county meetings, anything that comes out as would be a motion, say in our meetings, comes out as some kind of a document, separate document. So they have some a little bit different ways of doing things. But, I think she was fine with what we have in the PPNR about the minutes. She was fine with changing record to ensure recording of. She wanted to make sure we had something in there about actually making sure that they got approved when we do. We have that in there, but we don't actually have that statement in the secretary responsibility. So we might want to, that's really a chair's responsibility to make sure they're approved. But we do have things in there about archiving. So, but anyway, all that was fine. So the adding introductory description on how to use the PPNR, we have that for February 20th. So Tom and Wyatt, hopefully you could draft something even fairly short. Can be a living document on that introduction. But if you could, when you go through that, include something about tying back to the bylaws, because I don't think we say anything at the beginning about the bylaws. And when I went through doing a draft of the feedback session presentation, I kind of stuck a little bit in about how it relates to the bylaws. And so I think if we had something in there.
It's there.
Is it?
Yeah.
These rules do not supersede the bylaws of the NCAC and shall not conflict with those bylaws.
Yes. No, that's true.
First paragraph.
No, that's there. That's there. But we don't say what the bylaws are. So if we could just say a quickie little thing about the bylaws or the governing rules of the organization, or I don't know. Maybe we don't need that, Tom. I will leave that up to you as the editor. But
okay. I often make the mistake of thinking that the reader is actually reading the appropriate document. So.
Well, for the average person out there, it might be nice for them to know what.
Yeah, I get you.
We're so familiar with bylaws that but maybe not everybody is. So, and how it relates.
Since you took it on the majority of that, I'd be happy to add the last phrase tying it back to the bylaws.
I don't know how you tie it any tighter, but okay.
I don't know either, but I'll give it a try.
Okay.
Right.
I'll send you the text of the first page, and then you can mess with it, and then we'll work on it from there. Okay.
Okay.
Sounds great. Thank you. And then updating the contact list. I wasn't sure if we'd done all this. So I think that's still one that we talked about last time about So adding the description of the NESCO and Friends Facebook page and the NCA, I think that was what was new to be added to the list, Susan, that's on your action item list. So
Yeah, I wonder if I should go back and confirm all the names of the people that were a year ago in the positions are still in the positions. I'm sure some aren't.
I think for the NCA, all you have to do is put the link to their website. And then
Okay.
on their website, they have their officers, or they should be updating all that themselves.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, the website should be sufficient for anything which maintains a website. It's nice to have the specific names, but that's going to age out pretty quickly. So we
Yeah,
might,
I'm thinking more of the water president and things like that.
I'm
Those
sorry, the what?
like the president and things like that. Just verifying the current list that we have is accurate.
Oh, of all of our contacts, you mean,
How,
for everything? Okay.
how does, if someone wants to use that list and contact somebody, how does that contact actually get to the person in that position?
Are you talking about for us, or are you talking about for the NCA? Are you talking about the contact list in general,
The
Michael?
contact list for the NCAC. I mean, we have, if a member or anybody wants to make contact with one of those people, how does that mechanically actually work?
So that's on our to-do list, and it's a
Okay.
very, very good question, Michael.
Yeah.
So Candace and I need to get together and actually create the emails. So she did it with Ran, similar to what we have for our bylaws email, and Ran is going to need some hand-holding to actually get it set up on his phone. And he was going to talk to Alex about doing that, because I guess Alex is fairly technical and could sit right next to him and do it. But basically, for you as parliamentarian, you would Candace will set it up with you. She would share the password with you. She will be in charge of, or whoever the secretary is will be in charge of the password. For now, it's Candace as kind of heading up the communications task force, is in charge of the password. So then you would be putting that into as one of your email contacts. It's strictly an email. It's not a phone. And if somebody came to you and you wanted to have a phone conversation, you could choose to share your phone number. But it's an email contact. And then it just comes in, like if you have both say a Comcast and a Gmail emails, you're getting both into it would be this NCAC parliamentarian email comes into your email stream. And then when you send out, that's where you need the password to have connected, so you can send out as parliamentarian.
Okay.
And so for each of the officers, that needs to happen. And so by March 14th, when we publish, I want that done for everybody. So that's kind of outside my thing, but I'm going to continue working on getting that actually implemented. So the list is there in the references section, but we just need to do it. Good question. Okay, archives. So we got an answer on this. So Sarah said that we need to hold off until next year for a number of reasons. One is just time, but the other is that they're actually doing some looking at archiving, kind of a major project within the county anyway, and related to funding and different things, and possibly even with the state involved. So she said it will actually work out better to wait till next year when they have some answers, and she will, of course, want to be involved with that. But at this point, she said just put that on hold for next year. So that was nice to actually have an answer, and overall, it sounds like that will be better. And she was real interested in Gary having some background in that area, so Gary may get a call. But so it's
just for context, last we heard was that Sarah's archives for her department are on flash drives in a box in her office.
two boxes.
Two boxes.
Yep.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
And that was
I said, something
and
like
that was an update from when they were on other kinds of media, and actually on and handwritten, I mean typed and on paper, and they had been they did get a grant to be able to scan those into actual digital documents. So, but it's a major project to get the county's archives. So at this point, our keeping ours separately is probably a good thing. But ultimately, of course, we and the county will want to take over our archives. But for now, we're on our own. The templates, I think that might be a next year kind of a thing. I think it would be nice to have them, but I don't see that we're going to have time to do them this year unless somebody wants to take that on. I think it's got Nancy and Tom right here, but we can move that if anybody wants to take that on.
Well, the thing about that is that we're going to have new people in terms of running the organization, and the templates might be obvious to us, but not necessarily the person who's doing it.
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
Putting it off a year and then talking to the people. Well, what could you have used? What would have been? What does it look like in abstract? So I think rather than just not getting to it, I think it is proper to delay it.
So does everybody agree? Because I kind of think that's how we ended at the end also is defer to next year. Does that sound okay? And take off this part about maybe don't do it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to put in change
It
tracking here.
It may be that we don't do it, but we don't know that.
Right. I'm just doing it on this document for now, but
Nancy,
okay.
Is that something that really legitimately should be done by the executive committee?
I think it's something that should involve them. Like if we do forms for the treasurer's job, for example, we would definitely involve the treasurer on it. And there could be some value in involving the outgoing officer also. But so yeah, I don't think we would do it in a vacuum, Wyatt, at all.
Okay.
But it is something that could be, added to the PP&R and the references section would probably be where it is. So it'd be pretty simple to add it in. We don't even have to do them all at once. But, the other thing is that there are some of these things, like a lot of the things Candace is doing currently, she's doing a procedure manual for that doesn't really belong in the PP&R. It's kind of a more detailed step in there about how you do task-oriented things. I'm really glad she's documenting. She inherited some of that, but there's a lot that she's actually writing. So I think whoever the secretary becomes can go in and review that with her. But that's really important to be able to turn
Remind me
onto
if
somebody
if
else.
you would or somebody, but if we include the templates in the references section of the PP&Rs, is that something that the general membership has to approve if we change it?
No, just the executive board.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Tom's idea, and I think it was a really good one. And we spelled that out, that it's really just kind of nitty gritty stuff, that like contact information that needs to be updated, or a map that needs to be some detail that needs to be updated. Now, if we were to go in and change some boundary on the map, that would go, that would not be something we could just do in a vacuum. But I think
Wyatt brings up a good point, though, and I think we should probably have a line in there that authorizes the executive board to do that.
we do.
So,
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in there.
All right. Okay.
Okay, moving on, because we have a lot to cover today. So executive board emails is done, but still need to be set up in practice, flesh out job descriptions. It's pretty much done. I have told the executive board that they're in there. They know where to find them to review them, but I will be contacting each of them to go over them. We don't really have a change on the community plan parts. That's okay. I've gone through things with Alex already. That's pretty well done. I think the main thing really, the only change in community in secretary is what we've just done here, to change that they don't actually have to record the minutes themselves. And then, so really it's Chris. Chris is kind of the main one that we have to go through, because Susan's been involved. Michael's already his stuff's all done for parliamentarian. So I think really it's Chris. So I need to get with Chris. In fact, maybe I should just say that. Review with Chris. Okay, social media. So we had quite a discussion about social media. We went through the draft in detail, and Sarah's really going to put her thinking cap on and talk with the attorney. I sent it to her as a separate part of the document to review. As we talked, she said it just really, really has to be part of the county. So if, for example, we want something routine to be able to talk about, like send out something about our next meeting, right, to the Facebook friends group, for example. It needs to come from the county. So we actually talked about the possibility that she would set up a CAC Facebook page, or actually a separate Facebook page for each CAC, and there would be a separate county page for the CACs and social media. So this may end up being a bigger thing where she will work with all the CACs and coming up with a practice. And there would be only authorized people designated by each CAC to be able to send anything out on social media, but it would be done so that, and I guess this is just off the top of her head and my head as we're talking about this, but it would be done in a controlled fashion where an authorized person could go in and post with a link back to the county site where we would have the information that we want to post. So everything would be on the county site, but there would be someone designated with the CAC or one or two people like the secretary and the chairperson or whatever who could post. And it would be like I said, it's important to have like an NCAC type Facebook ID that's controlled by the county, like the password is controlled by the county to be able to access that, but that it comes in as officially NCAC. And we talked about, having comments turned off and how you do that, because you can, as long as it's set to public. And we went into some details. So she's really apprehensive, but she also doesn't want to, she understands why we would want to do it and the benefits of doing it. But there will be more work done. She said, please just take it off for this year. Just don't even, maybe have a placeholder in there, but take out the text. So she was pretty firm about that, but still open, and she said that that's something we'll have to go through the attorneys, and it's just not something for this year yet. So it would be something we could work on through this spring if we want to continue working on some of these things, or just move on and start next year. But any comments about that, or do you want to wait till we actually get into the document?
Comment in terms of just a separate Facebook page does not seem feasible. Who would ever subscribe to it?
Right. And I said that. It can't be a separate, and I think I misspoke actually. Not a separate Facebook page, but it would be a separate page on the county website for the CACs to have social media. And so that, because, first it wasn't that you would have a link to some vague county website. It would be something that would go to an NCAC part of the county website, where that would have, or you'd link to this particular page or item. I'm not stating it very well, but
the CAC landing page. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not even sure it's that, Tom. I know what you mean, but I think it would mainly be to a post, and she would, or someone she designated with the county who's an employee would actually have to approve everything that would be sent. And
I really do understand her concern, because every social media website that has ever been created has had a set of ideas and limitations appropriate for that particular website, and every single one of them have been violated. Every one of them had gone crazy in places that nobody imagined they would go.
Right. So
Yeah. And so, Tom has a good point there. Who in the world's going to follow this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
right. So that's why I think it's going to be a bigger task to
yeah, it
figure out
is.
what's going to be done. And she wants it to be consistent with all the CACs. She actually thinks a lot of this PPNR and bylaw stuff may end up being, having other CACs signing on or something like this too. She's very impressed with what we're doing. But in terms of the social media, that may be another task force where there's a representative from each of the CACs to try to hammer it out with people from the county. So we'll see. It's an introductory discussion with her. It's the first time it's hit her, and she's really torn between trying to support what we want because she can understand the value of having it out there. The outreach, getting to people that are out there. For example, I don't want to go out on my Facebook page with my Facebook ID and share it because I'll either I'd probably get comments would be okay, but um, I don't know. I think it would be better to have an NCAC one. Susan, since you're willing to, that's
Yeah, no,
great. I
it's
think
just,
that would be really terrific for you to do
I'm
that.
willing to on this, and I'm just thinking about it right now as this is being said. I mean, I just envision saying, hey, there's a great speaker on Saturday, i.e. tomorrow, and this is who it is, and go to the Nesquin CAC website and sign up. That's about all I can really say on the
Yeah,
Nesquin
you
and
could.
Friends page only.
Yeah, you could even, I think, copy the email that went out yesterday with the box that had the speaker.
Okay, I'll look
And
back at that. Let me make sure I got it.
Isn't the reality that we would be posting this thing through the county, whatever they decide needs the format or the source needs to be, but we're going to post it in every place that we can post it, right? So it's kind of like the county is going to be the repository and the approval point for posting, but
then we
most
would
of,
share.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We would share with a link to that where they posted it.
yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. And so, like, you could share, Susan, when you post this, a link to the events page for tomorrow's meeting. And unfortunately, I think the events page doesn't have anything on it about the speaker at the moment.
No, it doesn't. And I'm just looking at it, and the linked images can't be displayed that I received from the NCAC yesterday about the regular meeting, which is unusual.
You couldn't see what the
I,
email said?
I'll send you a screenshot. Let me take it basically, it says reminder regular membership meeting February 7th, 2026 at 10 a.m. It has meeting documents. You can register, but there are two linked images that can't be displayed that have red X's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know if that's our logo, or what it is.
Did other people get that too with
I,
the
it,
email yesterday?
mm-mm.
it worked for me. I can share my screen.
Yeah, it worked for me, but
Um,
You're sharing already, but yeah,
oh, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
just to verify that what can be seen and what can't. There we go.
Let me see here.
So doesn't seem to. Is that what's missing?
The thing that is missing is the Nesquin Citizen Advisory Committee, and more importantly, the big blue box with the program information.
oh
Wow.
no. I wonder if
Yeah.
anybody else had that.
Yeah, I just sent Nancy a screenshot of what mine looks like, but I could share a screen. It just has X's, red X's saying the image. Gosh, let me see what I had on that. It says the linked image cannot be displayed. The file may have been moved, renamed, or deleted. Verify that the link points to, and I can't read what the next line says. The
Huh.
correct file and location.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I just got it, Susan. Yeah. Do you have anything at the top of the screen that allows you to share to look at it? Because sometimes I'll get that kind of thing, and then I can go to the top and click on something that will show everything.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Let's see. I'm not to like make them fill in, right?
Yeah.
No,
Right.
I'm not seeing anything. Now, maybe on my iPad it comes in differently. Let me grab my iPad.
Okay. Well, hopefully most people found it, but yeah, I can send you that image separately for you to post. I can, because yeah, we really need to do a better job of advertising.
Let's see what
I think we need a secretary.
this.
So I'm going to move on because we have
Yeah.
a lot to get done. But thank you for mentioning that there may have been a problem. If anybody else didn't get that email or had a problem, let me know.
I'm just glad that I know what it looks like because I can put it in text form. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, That's just very weird.
It came in
Okay.
okay on my iPad, so maybe anyway, I'll deal with it on my side and see
Okay.
what I can do.
Okay. Because I just sent it as a Word document to Candace and she converted it over and did it very quickly. I appreciated it. Okay. As a result, though, I had to listen to a video of the community plan again to get enough information to feel like I was intelligent enough to write the thing. So it took a little time I wasn't planning on.
Oh,
wow. Okay, where are we down here? Okay, I think everything else was fine. Revisiting decisions, we talked about that. I think she liked that. So that's it. In terms of our list, really, I think at this point, the main thing is my following up with Chris, cleaning up the information from Sarah, and then the introductory description, and then Susan, your contact list updates for the Nesquin and Friends Facebook page. All we need is a link, and
okay.
all we need for the NCA's link, so it should be pretty quick. Send to Tom. Okay, so going on to the bylaws stuff. Which I thought I had open. Okay, I want to go open it. Sorry. I'm not going to share my whole screen again. I learned my lesson. Oh, and also, if anybody does need to take a break, let me know. I know we're having another long meeting. What, Michael?
Home, Susan?
I'd say again. Yeah.
You're at home?
Mm-hmm. It's gorgeous down here.
Oh, I can imagine.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking another good speaker might be someone from the fire department. I actually had to pay my STR license this morning, and they said they're really worried about the fire season because of so little rain.
We are.
Okay. So here's the latest, and I stuck this in the meeting folder last night after we talked. So in terms of the first one on vacancies, Sarah suggested that we take out that the executive board needs to approve temporary leave of absence, because like, what are we going to do that an officer may take a temporary leave of absence for up to 6 months for any reason with as much notice to the executive board as feasible. So this is for the committee to review and see what you think. Duties should be handled as a vacancy is described below. Subcommittee chairs may also take a temporary leave of absence for up to 6 months, and duties should be handled by the subcommittee members as they see fit. What happens, and then, what happens after the 6 months. um, so, she didn't have any problem with adding in something about vacancies, just, she had that comment. So any discussion on this?
That's a good question. That's a good ad, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it reminds me of when Brandon Beaujeu stepped back from being the chair of the NCAC, and we were without a chair for a long time, and no one knew he had actually was thinking of resigning.
Mhm. Well, and this kind of came up because when Mark was planning to resign, and we said, well, what about taking leave of absence, because he was having a family issue that might have been temporary. And he actually thought about that at an executive board meeting and realized we don't actually have anything in our bylaws for that. So that I'm sure we could have quickly gone around that, but this is to fix that little issue. I can't see that the executive board would want to say, no, you can't take a leave of absence for up to 6 months, but they might, I don't know. So I'm comfortable either way. What do you guys want to do?
Either way, what do you mean either way? What?
Either leaving it the way it was or adding
No,
or
I think
changing it.
both of these changes make a heck of a lot of sense, particularly what happens after 6 months. I mean, we ought to at least discuss that.
Right. Okay. Any objection to accepting these changes?
Mm-mm.
And then, yeah, what are your thoughts on what do we do after 6 months? I think it probably depends on the situation, right?
Yeah. I think at that point, you give the executive committee the option of declaring a vacancy, or they can extend if they want.
Yep, I'd agree.
So, so after the 6 months, do we just say,
The executive board shall determine what occurs after that, I think is probably fine. I would, Wyatt is suggesting the possibility of extension. I think that's appropriate. But then, I think it's up to the executive board to decide that, because it will be determined on the basis of what the issue is at the time.
And
And
what
it
the
may be
needs of the
different.
committee are.
Yeah, it may be different for each person.
does that sound okay?
Well,
People?
I wouldn't put if more than 6 months. I think that's already implied, but you might add
That's true.
Whether
Yeah.
an extension is needed.
Well, yeah, is needed, or I think is appropriate. If it may be needed but not appropriate.
Yeah.
I mean, because inevitably they will be sensitive, regardless of what it is. It's personal, etc. But you might add after which the position may be declared open.
I think that the proper
I
way
think
to do that
that's
is declare a
here,
vacancy.
right? And that's there. So I think that's covered that
Oh,
once
okay.
it's,
All right. Yeah,
yeah.
you're right. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
So, okay, thank you. Any
Yeah.
objection to changing this to this
No.
wording?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I'm going to change it. I'm going to accept it then.
Yeah. That's good. Hey, puppy. How you doing, little guy? Huh?
Okay. So that was that for that one. Okay. And then on voting, I don't think we came back to this actual thing after we went to the details, but she liked what we were doing in both of these situations. Excuse me. About she liked that, the chairperson would have the judgment to be able to determine whether you needed to actually go to electronic polling, leaving it as the default, but she liked the wording on all of that. And she liked opening up the roll call vote to not requiring a motion to pass to do it. So she liked all that. And then there were some more comments though when we get to the PP&R section. So that was fine. And then the recording of the minutes, I added the word accurately, just record minutes or ensure that minutes are recorded accurately of membership and executive board meetings. And then she said, well, shouldn't they also be responsible for making sure that they're approved? We've never had that in the bylaws. We do have ensure that the records of the NCAC are maintained, and we do have in the meeting information that should be part of the agenda, but we could add in here. I don't know. To me, it's almost more the chair's responsibility, and we certainly cover in the PP&R about minutes approval.
Yeah.
But we could add something here if you felt like it was appropriate to ensure that they're recorded accurately and approved.
Yeah, I don't, doesn't Robert's rules require approval?
It does.
We
It's
incorporated
covered, and our
Robert's rules.
PP&R does too. So
Yeah,
I think
so-
we're covered.
I think we are too.
Okay. Anyone object to changing this to ensure that minutes are recorded accurately?
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's kind of implied. You're not going to. The reason for that was we talked about AI a little bit, and I know Wyatt, you had brought that up too about what about AI, and that actually came up in the community plan meeting because they used the Zoom AI to do the minutes because their normal minutes taker hadn't been at the meeting, so she just used the AI. So she had reviewed it to make sure it was accurate, and I guess watched the video to make sure it was accurate. But so if AI is being used, Sarah was concerned, and of course, any of us would be, that they are recorded accurately. And so in the PP&R, she wanted to make sure that it was clear in there that if there is any AI recording, that be very carefully reviewed, and that the video of the meeting is the ultimate document of the meeting, which is really interesting. I still think it's really important to have minutes that might have a timestamp to go to an important part of the meeting, but that would record any motions that are key motions and
No,
that kind of thing.
This is another one of those areas in Robert's Rules and Parliamentary Procedures that they didn't anticipate 100 years ago.
Right, right.
And it's still being developed as to how to handle this. Robert's Rules requires that minutes be approved, not necessarily by vote, but by acclamation or something like
Right.
that. That's okay.
Right.
But at least it has to be recognized that they have been approved, which means that an AI set of minutes needs to be reviewed formally by somebody,
Right.
and
Right.
then has to be approved by the membership,
That's right, by the body
by the body.
for the
Yes.
many, which
Yeah.
we do have in our PP&R as well, just to make
Yeah.
sure. So, and really there needs to be somebody to, like the secretary to, or
Yeah.
whoever took the minutes to do it. So we talk about that in the PP&R, but it's just kind of a new thing that the video is really critical in her mind. So
Well, and we
to
all,
me, oh, go ahead.
well, we all know that AI renditions are notoriously funny from time to time.
The Zoom one is. So I
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
turned on the Zoom AI this time for the first time.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of curious what it does, and
Uh-huh.
you'll get it, Mike. But we get the transcript, but we don't get the AI version. So
Yeah.
I've done that for another organization. I get the AI stuff, and I will say it's gotten better, but it's certainly not accurate. And the other thing it doesn't do is it doesn't capture people who are attending the meeting. You have to have the meeting attendees in the minutes.
Yeah.
So you have to have when the meeting started. It doesn't capture that. It doesn't capture a lot of the stuff that we typically will put in minutes. But it can mean the minutes can be a lot simpler. And I think for the last membership meeting in October that I put in timestamps where people could go to the video and just said, this was discussed, timestamp. So it could make it a little easier if they wanted to. So they don't have to watch a 2-hour meeting on, a video to see if there's anything of interest. So Any other discussion so I think that's really what they accurately came from, was from that discussion about AI, that they need to really look to make sure that if they didn't do it, the secretary needs to make sure that they were done accurately.
I
To the
think
secret-
there's reasonable concern about AI. At some point, some organization's going to say, well, let's just use AI. And that's going to be a bad decision, I think.
Oh, yeah. I think we're quite a ways away from that. It's getting better, but not anything.
Not,
yeah.
yeah.
So any objection to accepting this change of accurately?
Nope. Good change.
Okay, so I think it has to be green. And then they don't make it easy in Word, do they, Tom? I know you
noticed
love.
that.
You love. Yeah, no, I had to do it too. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna fix this, send it to you guys. I'll put it in the thing so that Tom, you can edit.
Well, I've not actually been editing the bylaws at all.
No, I know,
I think
but
this
this,
document is, and if you're ready, if you think we're ready and we're done, I'll be happy to do that. But until we're done,
no,
that's gonna be a problem.
this is the one that you had volunteered to fix.
Uh,
So this part here under Amendment 2, I can do it if you'd rather, but you had said you could do this editorially too, because there was two different but related issues in here. One about the roll call voting, and one was the allowing for just a voice vote or a show of hands vote.
okay.
I don't know if you recall that, but
Nope, I
you
don't.
did.
Which
Okay, I'll do
doesn't
it.
surprise me greatly.
Nope, I'll do it. So it's now on my to-do list. I'll do that, and then I'll do that this weekend and send that out. So okay, so that's all we have, I believe. Yeah. So any other comments on the proposed bylaws amendment other than the editorial changes of the voting side? Okay, hearing none, we will go forward on that. So now we are going into the PP&R review. So I sent Tom so what I did yesterday was, with the meeting with Sarah, was just go through version 13, Rev 13, and made notes along the way. So I know that's not how you like it, Tom, but that was just the simplest way to do it. And so I sent Tom that version. So Tom, either you can share it or I can share it. And
Why don't you share it since you're
okay,
already aware of the edits, and then
okay,
what gets changed, you can then send to me, and I don't have to filter through two changes.
that sounds good. So I labeled this as R13N for Nancy.
To make it
So
into
because it's not really a R14, but I'm going to go ahead and change it to an R14, Nancy, just because I've sent this to Sarah because she wanted to take a look at it.
well, make it a different name than what you sent me.
I'm changing it to R14, Nancy. Oh, this is the wrong one. What's this? Done it. Okay, where did I actually share? There it is. Sorry, too many documents open to find on here. Now let me save this. So you don't have an R14 right yet, Tom?
That is correct. I do not.
Okay. So I'm doing an R14N that you can change to an R14. All right. Can everybody see this okay? I'm going to try to make it bigger.
If you do a double click between the pages, you'll get rid of the headers and footers.
Oh, really? Huh. I always learn something from you every single time. Look at that. Never seen that before. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So we really didn't have a lot to say in the first one. I think it doesn't till we get to what's that one? Okay, she was fine. Okay, till we get to policy 13. On meeting notices and documents. And she was fine with all that. She liked that. She said, yeah, you've got to be able to change the agenda. Um,
Yeah.
request to the NCAC. So this is one that we, she wanted to see this a little bit more. So we talked about the candidate forum thing, and and I've thought more about this too, that if Tillamook County Board of Commissioners has taken a position on a ballot measure or sponsored a ballot measure, really they shouldn't have to have the competition come in and talk to us because we're an arm of the county. I know that's true, like with our school parcel tax stuff. If the school board had approved something and a PTA has approved, you know, and it comes to talk to parents, you don't have to bring in the opposition. And I think this is similar here. It's probably inappropriate to actually invite somebody to come in. If it's candidates, it's a different issue. Candidates, you invite everybody, but because we don't endorse and the county doesn't endorse on candidates. But she suggested that we change this part here where if the request involves promoting a stand on a ballot measure, then representatives of all sides shall be invited to speak. I think maybe we need to actually take that. Well, if it's a ballot measure that the county doesn't have a position on, we should invite all sides. However, the Tillamook County Board of Commissioners has sponsored or taken a position on a ballot measure, then only that position will be presented.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't like that very much.
No, I don't either.
No, I don't either.
Well,
That-
let me add my voice too. I don't like that either, but I understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
There's no reason that you should take aim on your foot and fire. And that's what's happening is a county, one part of the county is saying the other part of the county doesn't actually know what they're talking about.
Right.
I can see that as their mental set. I understand why they do it. I think it probably would be up to individuals to ask pointed questions.
Right.
Well, but the NCAC is a representative of the people to the county.
No, it's representative of the county. We do not represent the people. We represent the county.
We're under the control and auspices of the county. We're an arm of the county. We operate at the pleasure of the county.
But doesn't the county itself, before they sponsor a ballot measure, at least consider, well, maybe not, because frankly, I was a little bit surprised at the position the county took on the short-term rental tax increase, which was a terrible proposition and really unfair in a lot of respects. And is this something that Sarah is actually demanding that we put in here?
No, she's not demanding. It's up for discussion, but last year when they had the tax that the county sponsored, and we refused to let the commissioner just come in spur of the moment. There was some discussion about whether there had been notice or not to us, but we ended up having a special meeting for it.
Mm-hmm.
And we did invite the other side to present, and they declined, but they sent information that was discussed. I think that caused quite a concern. And the county's saying, hey, we're in charge of these people. We're in charge of this organization. We don't have to have a CAC. And, if you look at the bylaws in the beginning, we're under their direction. And that's why everything in the bylaws has to be approved by the county. And we're subject to open public meeting law. We're considered almost like employees of the county, even though we're not paid. And so their position is we should not we could, as you say, bring up through questions any concerns that are are raised and that kind of thing. But their position is if it's a ballot measure that they sponsor or they have taken a position on in some way. So there are a couple that are going to be coming up. One is going to be, there are two bills that are going through the Oregon legislature now. One is a translogic tax, where the formulas are such that the state keeps most of that money. It's a 70-30 split, and 30% goes to the county, which has really hurt Tillamook County and Escalon. So there's a bill to change that. And I think there are a couple of options. One's 50-50 and others a 30-70, the opposite way, so that the county gets most of it. But a lot of that has become apparently the new tax, and this is something Chris Leahy had talked about. It's replaced a lot of the timber money that the county used to get is now being replaced by the TLT tax. So so that's going to be something that'll be coming up that they're going to want to come out and talk to us about. I don't know if that would actually come to a vote. I think that's a legislative thing. And then there was another one, and I don't remember what that was, but there's something else coming up.
There's we have discussed the possibility that members can call special meetings with approval and so on. Special meetings are limited to the agenda for that special meeting. And let's assume that there's a ballot measure that some members of the community of Nesquin say, we'd like to discuss this. Because it's not been decided, because it's on the ballot. And so people are going to vote and have to make a decision. So how do we get an opportunity to discuss this? So they call the NCAC and said, let's have a special meeting to discuss this. And what this red line says is that we can't do that.
Yeah. We
No, it
become a
doesn't say that.
propaganda arm for the county.
Pardon
And
me?
it affects our credibility completely.
Let me take a different tack on it. I think it doesn't say that, we can't require that somebody else be able to speak, but we don't prevent it either.
But it says then only that position will be presented. That's pretty
But
close.
by the county.
No, yeah.
I think there's, if it's an open meeting, they cannot, under open meeting law, they cannot prevent someone from speaking.
That's right.
So that is invalid under the open meeting law.
Yeah, but Tom, I
Well,
have
how
to
about
say,
it will be on the agenda? I don't know.
I have to say that puts us in a horrible position. We have already had issues of credibility raised
Yeah.
in this organization before that. And to
Okay.
include that in something right now where it's not necessary, I think invites people to revisit all that crud and say, well, all you guys are is a propaganda arm of the county. I would be strongly opposed to it.
Okay.
See, I even have a problem with line 35, 36 there. No vote shall be taken.
On a
Oh.
candidate. Oh, ballot issue or candidate. Okay.
Yeah, no, because we're an agency of the county, we're not allowed to. That was just something that came from the attorney before. This isn't new.
Well, how
we're
about the
not-
red? I mean, who
we're
brought
not
the
allowed
red up? Did Sarah toss the
Sarah.
red? No.
Sarah, I wrote it, but Sarah brought it up. And yeah, because she said basically the Board of Commissioners are her boss. And basically they're also our boss. They are responsible for the CACs. Now the NCA could bring in both sides, right? They could bring in both sides with no problem because they're not affiliated with the county. But she said when it's something where the county has sponsored something, so I think it'd be worth talking with her further. But I see her point. I do think that in any situation like that, if there is information that's presented by the county on something and there is a lot of concern about it, people are free in the discussion to bring up all those concerns, right? But it is different than having a speaker talking about it, or a forum like you would with candidates, of having a forum. Or if it were something not sponsored or the county doesn't have a position on it, then, we could bring in both parties. So I think there are ways to push back, but I kind of see the point. It would be like if they were having a meeting with their employees to present a ballot measure, would they bring in the opposition? Now, they're not allowed to. Once there's a ballot measure on the ballot, I think the law prohibits them actually going out themselves with their titles and doing it. But I'm not sure. That's California. I don't know about Oregon. But
It seems strange to me because we're their constituents, and it's like having a debate, like a presidential debate, where you're hearing both sides. It's a democratic process. And to hear only one side, even if your constituents may or may not disagree, you would think that they would want the optics of being fair and allowing a democratic process to take place. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay, so let me, first of all, I hate what's in red. Okay. However, thinking about how they're thinking about it. If HR came into your company, into your group, and said, here is the new policy. Is HR going to invite opposing views?
But there's a difference because we're not voting for our CEOs. They're established, but we are voting as constituents for the Board of Commissioners.
Well, we're not talking candidates here. We're talking ballot measures. Let me just make that really, really clear. It's only for ballot measures. Candidates would always be a candidate forum.
Yeah,
You'd invite all candidates to
We're
attend.
trying to influence individual votes, Nancy. That's the thing
That's true.
That's galling to me.
Yeah.
If I'm not making myself clear, somebody's
No, you're very clear, Wyatt, and I appreciate the debate. No, I think it's a really good debate. It's a very good debate.
I mean, if someone were wanting to raise our property tax, say to fix our roads, wouldn't we want to hear all sides as well?
Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe the issue is whether or not the NCAA is the appropriate forum for that kind of discussion. I can understand, but the manner in which we are prohibited, and essentially that's what it is. That seems to me to be anti-democratic.
Yeah, the problem is that this is a post-decision discussion as opposed to a pre-decision discussion. A pre-decision discussion should have all sides. But if the county's already decided to do something, then they've already decided.
Well, but it says ballot measure.
Yeah, it was voted down, and maybe that's why they're upset, because the fact that someone did come to speak at our forum, that ballot measure lost by 12 votes. It was very close.
Yeah, and in fact, I don't think the county represented themselves very well because they weren't really ready for a discussion, and maybe that's what they needed to take away from it. Because I thought the case for the tax was weak, and I'm in favor of it.
Oh, I felt the same way. Yeah, that was a terrible presentation.
I didn't.
Yeah, they didn't help each other at all.
Okay, so
so it sounds to me like I'm hearing consensus that this needs to be removed. Would that be, or does anyone want to push back on that statement?
In younger years, I would say, well, let's leave it there, but make it exactly the opposite. but now I would say, let's not even put that in there.
I think for clarity's sake, that paragraph is too big. It's covering too many things. I think it needs to be broken out, and maybe
it used to be, Tom. The editor went in and changed that.
You can't trust those editors. I told you before, they're slackers. Yeah.
Well, it's
Okay.
also covered down here, I noticed. So I think this is something you and I should talk about from an editorial standpoint, because we also have stuff in here about ballot measures. So I think what happened was we'd had initially in the last version separate things under promotion requests, and it got moved up here, and then there's some remnants still here. So
Okay.
um, so we need
I'll,
to talk about the yellow part. That was just me highlighting because I kind of noticed a little more carefully than I had that when that got edited. I think so I have no problem if you want to try to separate some of these back out into separate kinds of things.
maybe I
But
just need to review, what is it, 13?
yeah, this is 13, but previous version, go back and review the original and you'll see that it was a flowcharty thing, right? It's one that you
No,
edited.
I don't want to look at that again.
You
Only
know,
go forward, don't go backwards.
um,
So,
let's
okay,
see.
so I'm hearing a very strong
Yeah.
suggestion that this be removed. And I can take that back to Sarah if that's what people want.
Oh, I think it'd be lovely to have a conversation with her. But maybe the others would prefer not to do so. But I understand where it's coming from. That we are an office or an agency of the county. Yes, I understand that. But the A in NCAC means advice, and that means we pass on advice. And how do we get to that advice if we are not allowed to hear two sides of an issue?
Right. No, I think you guys all make good points, and I understand their position too. But I think if Sarah pops in today, we can raise that when she comes, and otherwise I will go back to her. And I don't see that we need to change this to the opposite, as I think Michael said. But I think we could certainly remove it. It was approved before, but subsequently it didn't go to the attorney. But subsequently, we had this issue that happened last November. So I think that's what raised this in her mind. So I'm just going to highlight this here. So
Well,
thank you for that
if-
discussion.
Yeah, if we, just, this is a directive for editing. If we made it such that the county position will be presented, and then
I'll leave it. Yeah.
take out the only.
Let's say
Yeah.
again.
I don't think we need it at all.
I agree.
I agree. We don't need it. They need it.
That's our compromise point if we gotta get it through, but
Yeah, remove the word only, then I think it's much less. It leaves it open as to whether or not someone else is.
I think we're still gonna get some really, really raised eyebrows once that is looked at. So I'd take it out unless somebody forces it to submit it to membership.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you'll see 150 people show up for that Zoom call if it
Yeah,
stays
and
like
I'd look forward to that one.
Yeah.
Well, it would probably be the last meeting of the NCAC.
Yeah,
Well, see, that's always the threat, right? But
Yeah.
I think they would. I don't think this would do it for them. I think it did put Sarah in an awkward position when she had to tell them no. But she did it anyway. I just editorially added the other candidates should be invited to speak at the forum. I think if we end up taking this sentence out, and we don't even need to bring it up as a change because it's editorial, but it's not just that the other speak at the forum, right? So
Well,
that's just
if we invite them to speak, does that mean then they can't send in things if they're unavailable to speak? I mean, shall be invited to the forum versus.
That's basically it. Yeah, that's right. We just had a governor's candidate forum, and the people who their schedules didn't permit them to come, they just lost out. They can either make it or not make it, right? They can be invited to speak. There's only one person who comes. There's one person who comes, but they all have the opportunity. Yeah, that's typical with a candidate forum.
Mhm.
They can't send a representative on their behalf or anything. It's to let the voters find out more about them. And
Now, if it's a
personally,
ballot measure, though, that wouldn't be a candidate because it's a measure.
correct. They're two different things, very
Ballot
different things in the law. There are candidates and there are ballot measures,
Okay.
and they're handled typically differently. Now, we're an arm of the county. I've never encountered that before. I'm very familiar with this kind of thing for 501c3s or C4 organizations and that kind of thing. I mean, there are very different laws with the IRS involving advocacy toward these different kinds of things. And but we're a different body here. This is a little new. But I'm fine fighting back on this one. And if we have an opportunity to have Sarah talk with all of us so she can hear all of it, I hopefully we could just, I mean, this passed last time. As I said, this thing in November, I think this was the suggestion here.
Okay,
So,
put me as in, my action is to review policy 19 editorially and to change. You want to soften it, or do you just want to remove it?
right.
Or,
So
well, we just need to note that possible change.
yeah. So let me
I
make
don't think we should do it stealth-wise. I mean, if this is
no.
what Sarah wants, we should make it explicit to her, no.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I agree, Tom.
okay.
Tom.
Hey, now this is not a successful meeting. Successful
What?
meeting is when I don't have any action items.
Oh. So I'm putting it on the comment side. I'm not going to put it on our action item list because that's more major stuff. Does that sound okay?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there's another area where you're going to do that too. Oh, and for some reason we skipped. How did we get down there?
You went to comments and then it
Oh,
decided
it
that's
took,
what you were interested in.
well, shoot. Okay. Hopefully you made a comment in the right spot. So I had it highlighted. I love Word.
Oh, and the comments are really special.
All
Commenting
right.
facility. Okay.
Well, is there a comment there?
Um,
It was supposed to be there. Usually you just go up here and make the comment.
and
Well,
unless you said apply, it's still hanging out in limbo.
no, I did. I said like. No, that's a different one. For some reason it went there. Okay, that's a weird one. All right. Sorry, people. I'm going to try one more time. There, new, Tom to edit and get. And we will basically delete this edition or don't accept. Object to this
You could turn the text
edition.
purple.
What?
You could turn the text purple. Just
Oh,
show
yeah.
our level of frustration with it.
Now at least I think the comment's in the right spot. I don't know
Oh,
why that other one went to, but sure, I'll put the text purple. It's red now, so it's pretty bad too. Trying to think about text purple elsewhere, not here. Okay. A lively discussion. Moving on. And then Tom, you'll check on this thing too, because I don't think it belongs there.
pardon?
this highlighted promotion request. It's another
yeah.
thing. It's a duplicate. It somehow got lost in the editing. So, okay. She was fine on all of this stuff. Under rescissions and reconsiderations, she wanted us to add, so a rescission is a long-term thing. Things have happened and then it can be like years later they come back. We have the effect of the vote to rescind cancels the previous action. Such rescission is not permitted if the original action resulted in any legal document or agreement, such as a signed contract. And she wants us to add, or if the county has taken action on the matter. So I don't see any problem with that. Do you?
What kind of action? I don't understand that red line.
So, for example, it came up in Oceanside that there had been a change that had been agreed upon by the CAC on a change of the elevation of structures, and that had gone to the county as part of their community plan, and the county had never actually approved the community plan. And years later, there was a concern that came up when some of the SB 406 stuff was happening, and that they wanted it put back. And the county had actually not taken action on the matter. And they were able to resolve things. But she said, had they taken action on the matter, it could not have been revised. So it became kind of a grayer area because they had not actually acted on it. But it's not just a legal, it could be that would be considered a legal document or a signed contract, but really if the county had taken action in some way. So that's kind of what she meant. So it's something like, because these are land use things, if there was something that had come in where, say, the NCAC had taken a vote and on something that the county then had to consider or whatever, if it was something that ended up resulting in an action from the county that affected people's property, then it would be an exception. You could not rescind that as a body of the county. That's what it means. I don't know if I explained that very well.
Well, I understand it, but basically this is straight out of Robert's rules.
Yeah.
That rescissions, I think actually the legal officer of the county had some input on this as well, didn't
I think it was kind of you and me, Michael, and I had
Yeah.
sent it to Sarah way back because she was actually asking for some input on this for the Oceanside thing.
I think that's an excellent addition, though. I mean,
Yes.
if something occurred and there was some structural changes or whatever, yeah, you can't go back and bring those down.
Right. So I had sent her actually the part that's in this last paragraph about Robert's Rules of Order, chapters 37 and 35. I just sent her that. This is something we had written last year. No, we had written this year to add. This is all new. These are all new from the previous version. So I don't have any problem with this.
No, that's good. That's a good addition.
If our role is advisory only anyway, do we really need this? Because we don't have anything that would be binding, do we?
Well, yes, I think you're right.
Well, in the community plan, it becomes part of statutory law or whatever the equivalent is. So if we were to have something in the community plan, which was counter to the actions of the county, that would be self-conflicting.
Well,
That's the only context I have.
Tom, doesn't it only assume the status of law when the county approves it?
When the county includes it into the
Land use ordinance.
land use ordinances, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah,
Land use
so
ordinances.
that doesn't change our situation. Ours is still only advisory.
But if we wanted to
For
go
this
back,
document,
then
yes, but for the community plan, they take that text wholesale.
Right, but if we advised concerning the community plan and then decided that we wanted to change our community plan later, it doesn't change the fact that the county has it incorporated into their land use plan.
But if they hadn't done it yet, and it had affected, in this case with Oceanside, apparently it actually infected some existing structures. And so it was a big deal to go back and try to change it when the county hadn't acted on it. As I understand it, they've kind of left it up to Sarah to fix it, but the CAC has. But anyway, if they had taken action on it, really, Robert's rules will allow you to bring it up as a new item. I don't consider this a big deal. Robert's rules would still allow them to bring it up as a new item. It's just they can't do a rescission, right? This is all about rescissions from a motion that could have been made years before, right? It's very rare. Normally we wouldn't even have it in there, but this situation came up with Oceanside and she had asked us to put something in about it. And so that's why it's in here. So I don't see that that's a problem. It could probably be considered under a legal document but who knows? I mean, I see it as a easy ad for us.
Yeah,
personally.
we're spending much more time on it than it deserves because rescissions are actually fairly silly.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think of the one-way traffic pattern thing that somehow wended its way through the NCAC meetings. And at one point at the very end of a discussion several years back, Rand said, oh, we're going to impose this one-way traffic pattern on the village and Chris Lady is going to come in. None of us had heard about this before. And we reversed it at a following meeting, but this immediately comes to mind on this with rescission because we have and it would have impacted property values and all kinds of things in the village. So, and that, I don't know if it was an action that was passed, and I don't mean to go dredge things up from the past, but this is immediately what I think of.
Right.
And the county had taken action to impose something on us, and we had no knowledge.
Yes. So that's exactly what this kind of thing would, but the county hadn't actually acted on it yet, right?
They were fit to. We were told, oh, Chris Lady's going to be implementing the one-way traffic patterns, despite the fact that some roads said trucks not permitted on this road, and the one-way traffic pattern was going to come right down that road.
Mm-hmm. So actually, Chris actually mentioned that in the community plan thing, so that may be coming up again, Susan.
Okay. I'll make
but
sure
again,
to try to attend.
But let me just make sure I'm clear here that it's just a rescission. So if it's something like the next meeting, it's fine. You can always bring it up again as a new item, right?
Yes.
So
there's the difference, which makes no difference.
Right. So if it's okay, if we could just, if there's no objection, I'd like to accept this.
Yes, it's fine.
Go on.
Any objection? Okay.
Pardon me, but how long do you think we're going to be?
I think we're going to go to 11:30. But do you need to go?
Yeah, I have to be somewhere at 11:30, so I'll have to take off about 30 minutes.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. Can everybody else stay? Because I'm hoping we don't need that much more. So let me just make sure she didn't have any trouble with any of the rest of this, so that was all good. So now we get social media, which is the last one, and basically she would like us to take it out.
Yeah.
I think we should, we'll have it saved in there but I think this is going to end up changing drastically. So
yeah, well, I think we just put it in save for future use.
Right.
Yeah.
So future. We'll change that. Tom, you can editorialize that, but okay. So I'm just going to accept that. Any objection if we accept this?
Yep.
Why didn't that go? Tom, where did that go? Okay. So we'll fix that. And then we went to the voting. The minutes. Minutes. I suggest, Tom, that we change procedure 3 to be mini minutes, not because it's not just content, it also talks about the approval process and other kinds of
Fair
things.
enough.
So, okay.
Less is more.
Yeah. So I wrote this after our discussion for you guys to review. Artificial intelligence may be used to help draft the minutes, but care must be taken by the recorder to ensure that the minutes are accurate and include the content listed above. The meeting video is the final record of any meeting, and it may be helpful to list the video timestamp for key discussions.
That's great, Nancy.
Yeah. And the may means we don't actually have to do it, but it's recommended
Right.
or
Right.
permitted. You want to
Okay.
use should, but no, may. Never mind. Pretend I didn't
Yeah.
say it.
Thank you. It does take a little time to do that, but so may I turn that to green? Any
Yes.
objection to turning that to green?
Green's a nice color.
Yeah, I like green. It's probably not the right green. What green is it, Tom? Is this the green or is this the green?
I'm not seeing it on your screen.
Oh, you're not. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. So I'm going back to review. You'll fix it anyway, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
I think it's close. Okay.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Okay, good. We already had that. There's no difference here. So I think the only other one was voting. Oh. How did I miss voting? Maybe she just said it was fine. Is voting a policy or a procedure? I thought it was a procedure. It is a procedure. No, it's a procedure. It's like procedure 4 or 5. Yeah, here it is. I guess she was okay with this. We had most of the discussion when we were talking about the bylaws changes. She actually liked this. She thought this was great. In fact, when we just got started on that action item list, and she said, so basically, if there are no votes, I mean, you can just assume that it's fine if there are no votes. And yeah, basically, she got it about the voice voting. She was fine. So all that's fine. So it looks like we're really at the end. So I think that's it. Any other comments on the PPNR at this point? Okay. So hearing none, do you approve what we did so far with this document in terms of, except for the issue of the one sentence under ballot measures? Do you approve getting this ready for the feedback sessions? Wyatt?
Yep.
Oh, you guys are voting. Okay. We have a capture that, Michael. All right. Okay. So next item on our agenda. Thank you very much. I know it's a long discussion. The next one is the feedback session planning. So I would like to share the drafty draft, which basically I took Tom's old one here and modified it, updated. So thank you, Tom. And this is very drafty and it'll go back to Tom, but I needed to get something for us to talk about today. How come I'm not there? I didn't change that. I think I did. I updated this terms in the document because you had changed that, Tom.
That'll change again because what Wyatt and I come up with, probably we should have a thing of how to use this document. So there'll be a new first one, what the document's
Right.
for. Okay.
And I do have that here on the agenda for the feedback session. We have welcome and introduction, schedule for adoption, proposed bylaws amendments, and then going into policies, procedures, and references. We have a new introduction.
Okay.
So I have that there.
Sure.
And then we talk about policies, discuss all new or updated procedures, briefly review significant new or updated. I have two references, show topics, but only review upon request, and then discuss the document reorganization. Actually, I changed that. I forgot to do that. I moved that up. Everywhere else up to here. I think that kind of needed to be first. Should probably change this to a save as R1. Learning from you, Tom. Yes, I'm learning from you.
Well,
Okay.
there are some secrets in PowerPoint that I know that I'm not willing to share.
Okay.
But you can turn an outline into a series of slides.
Okay. Oh, okay. Cool.
I mean,
Maybe.
bullets. You could change bullets into slides. In other words, you could do three slides out of those 3 bullets. And if
Yeah,
you're interested, I'll show you how to do that.
I will. Thank you. Yeah, let's meet after. So then welcome and introductions. We do some introductions. Oregon Public Meeting Law, just briefly, as we have in our PP&R, and then let people know that there'll be a Q&A after each item. And I'm anticipating a small group, so I figure we can leave that pretty flexible. Schedule for adoption. I don't have dates yet because our committee hasn't decided on dates, but those would be added. And kind of concurrent with our feedback sessions would be, hopefully Sarah can be giving us approval for different things. And I think other than that one little sticking point we have, I think she's okay. Although she didn't have time to really read the whole thing. I sent all that to her late last night.
Yeah.
For her to review more carefully. And then how the final proposed document goes into our our final proposed document to go, for approval. But if necessary, if there's something major that comes back from Tillamook County or from feedback sessions, we may need to schedule an additional feedback session. I'm hoping not. And then the special membership meeting to adopt the amended bylaws and PP&R on March 14th. And I hope you all have that on your schedule. March 14th at 10 a.m. We'll probably do a Robert's Rules thing at 9:30 again. And I need to change the footer to be one line. And then proposed bylaws amendments, Amendment 1, leave of absence. Amendment 2, voting. Amendment 3, secretary duties, recording of minutes. So slides will have to be put in here. This is kind of an outline at the moment. Questions. So, we go through the bylaws amendments. I think that can be pretty brief. And then policies, procedures, and references, discuss the PP&R reorganization, the introduction, the policies, discuss all new, so this is basically repeating what we had earlier. Reorganization is just a title slide because I figure, gosh, there's a cute little, I don't know what's unsubstantiated. I don't know what the word is here. Not substantive changes. Tom, you can edit
Non-substantive.
Well, I had non and it didn't like that. But maybe it should be non-hyphenated or something.
Well, the definition of editorial is non-substantive. That's redundantly repetitious.
It is redundant, but some people may not understand that.
Well, that's their problem. They don't speak English.
Yeah,
fine. You can edit that. Yeah.
How about incidental? Incidental, maybe. I don't know.
No, they're not. They are purposeful.
Yeah. Substantive has a pretty well recognized definition.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I kind of like non-substantive. Anyway.
All right.
I don't actually have a slide for that. I figure, Tom, that would be a good one for you to write that talks about what you did.
That's this.
It's a quickie. It's a really quickie slide.
Yeah, it's a hand waving.
PP&R introduction, obviously, we don't have a slide for that yet, but we will. And the sooner we could get that in terms of because our next meeting is like the day before or the day of the, the first feedback session if we decide to do that date. Policies. So I just left that as it was. So I took in all the policies topics. And the only ones that I could see that we need to talk about are the ones in purple. When I went through the document, that was the only thing that really had anything substantive that's either a change or it was new. So you guys can go through this and see if there's anything else that I included those then. Procedures topics, the two to talk about would be the motions and voting, which has some change, and the applications for NCAC positions. But I figure into that first part about reorganization, we can say we're not talking about things that, just if they change from a policy to a procedure or vice versa or whatever, we're not going to talk about that if it didn't actually substantively change.
Okay.
So the items in purple are new or significantly amended, and the details provided in this presentation. So, and then the references topics, the things that we've changed in any major way are in purple, but we're not going to talk about them unless they want. So now we go into policy 13, which is the first one we had any change, and it's updated to clarify how meeting agendas should be provided. I followed Tom's format of just having a general slide and then putting in the text of the changes. And that was it. So I see a chat. What's in the chat?
That's me. I got to take off.
Oh, now? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me go to the dates. I thought you had more time than this.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead if you will. I just have to take a shower first. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, let me cancel out of this for the moment then, and let's go to dates because those are more important.
Okay.
So let me go back to the agenda. Let me find it on here because it's hiding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys see it? So back to dates. So what do you think of the February 20th and 21st? As I'm thinking about it, we have enough change here that I'm thinking maybe we want to move it back a week.
We have very little runway between.
We do, especially since we don't have the first part. So let me look at the calendar, see what you guys think here about. Not sharing my calendar this time, people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what would you think about the 27th and 28th? And actually, it was the executive board that had all these things, but they're going to have their own. So if we have the executive board discussion on the 25th at that meeting, it might work really well to have one feedback session on Friday night and the next one on Saturday morning. And what it does is it just gives two different time opportunities for people to hear the same information.
What times would they be on those dates?
So what we've done in the past is 7 p.m. and 10 a.m., but we could do 9:30 a.m.
February is a short month.
It is. But, if we have our special meeting to adopt him on March 14th, that doesn't give us a lot of time to turn it around.
Well, I would not expect a lot from me on that week.
Oh,
I
okay.
have a newsletter deadline at the end of the month, and if I get it done early, but that's only if contributors get done early.
Right.
So I don't have complete control on that.
So I'm thinking, Tom, though, so when your deadline's that weekend, so you won't be actually working that weekend, but you'll be working the week ahead.
Well, yeah. February
Okay.
25th is my deadline, or the 25th of the month is my deadline. Unfortunately,
Okay.
February, that doesn't give me much runway to get done.
It doesn't. So what if I were to take on the presentation part of it? Because I've already gotten started and it's not that hard to flesh it out.
I
With
would
that.
be extremely grateful for that.
Okay,
Because
because
I don't,
I do have time to do it, so I would be happy to take that on and do that, and then and that way we could go ahead and get those feedback sessions out of the way. I'm still a little nervous. It only gives us 2 weeks to the actual special meeting, but I think we need it. I don't see that we can just turn it around without that introduction being agreed on the 20th, unless we set up another meeting for next Friday.
uh, no, let's look at my calendar.
And I actually can't do next Friday. so
Oh,
I'm
okay,
looking
never
at
mind.
it.
Those dates are, yeah, go ahead and do if you can do the presentation, I'm good with that.
Okay. How are you guys? How are the rest of you?
On the 27 and 28, is that what you're
Um,
talking about?
Yes, the 27th and 28th. Or if
20,
you'd like to spread it out where we do one on a Tuesday night, the 24th, which would be the night before the executive board meeting, which might give us some input for the executive board, and then one on Saturday morning. We could do that too.
yeah, Friday is out for me. That's a busy, busy day.
Yeah, it's a night time. It would be a night time.
We need to be somewhere at 7 p.m.
Got it. So it sounds like that would work better for you anyway. So how does Tuesday night, the 24th sound to people?
That's better. I'm going to be in New York for an event on the 27th. So the 27th is out for me.
Okay. So any objection to scheduling for the night of the 7 p.m. on the night of the 24th?
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then how about on Saturday morning, the 28th? And I realize, Susan, you're probably still going to be not really available then, but
I can try to make myself available. I'll do my best.
okay.
Yeah.
Any objection to the morning of the 28th?
It's fine. 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Pop this in,
Okie dokie.
10 o'clock on the 28th.
Okay.
Yep.
I hearing none. We will update that. The agenda. Let me get back to it.
So it would be 10 to 11 on the 28th and 7 to 8 on the 24th.
Yeah.
you-
Let me see
If
here.
you'll, I'm not
All
gonna
right.
update my calendar till I get your document.
Yeah. Yes. So we're going to say the 24th would be feedback session number 1
Okay.
at 7 p.m. and the 28th Saturday. And I have 9:30 on here. I think we've usually done 10. Why don't we just do 10?
Okie dokie.
So I will send that out as an email afterward. Thank you for staying for that. Have a nice shower, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. All
And
right.
thank you. So I'm going to go back now to thank you guys. Before you go, any objection? Well, we can decide later if we need a special meeting on March 6th, but I kind of think it would be good for you guys to plan on it, just the way things are going.
Just in case.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd really like to not have to delay that meeting. It's a perfect time to have it in between our other membership meetings. Let me go back to the presentation.
Okay. See you all tomorrow.
Yeah. Thanks, Michael.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Okay. So basically it's just taking what we have. And then procedure policy 19 is requests the NCAC. And I haven't filled that in yet. It looks like a drafty draft. Quorum is new. It's full text. So because it was in full text, I'm not putting it in green unless you think I should. Policy 21 is new, full text. OPML considerations are new, so they're black. And there's detail and questions, discussion, then procedures. And then we have motions and voting, which are not in here yet. Procedure 11 applications. And then references, we're not going to go through. It just gives them a chance to say if there were any that they particularly wanted to have, and then just questions, discussions in general. So as far as a format, general layout is concerned, is this looking okay?
Yeah, it looks fine, Nancy.
Yeah,
Right.
it's fine.
Okay, good. Easy peasy. Gosh, you guys are easy. Okay. Sometimes, that's true. That's true. Okay, good. Good. I appreciate that. So for tomorrow's meeting, I'm just gonna kind of go through, I'm gonna do a separate presentation based on our discussion today, but just to let people know that I'll probably just use those main 3 slides that talk about the what we're doing, the bylaws change, policies, procedures, and what will be in the feedback sessions to let them know and where they can find the document. And I guess we need to have a place for them to find the document. Well, they'll be in the meeting folder for tomorrow. I'll stick them in the latest version. So Tom, I guess we need to I'll send you 14N. And I think I'm just going to, I think maybe on 14, why don't we take out that highlighted stuff? That'll just be for us for now on the ballot measure stuff.
Okay.
Why don't you and I talk after the meeting? We can figure out what to do with that.
Okay.
That we put in the general meeting folder, and then we'll have it in our own notes on we have to fix that. But I think we have to get back to Sarah. Sarah will not be at the meeting tomorrow. So, okay. Any other comment from the subcommittee about what's going on?
Okay, Wyatt, I've got an email that I'm about to send you some new language in the introduction. And
Okay.
you said you would take a look at it. And if it would be possible to turn that today, then we can get everything updated.
Yeah, Tom, I could get that done.
That'd be great. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. That would be really great. And then we'll just put that, since we haven't discussed it as a committee, I don't think we actually have to put it in for tomorrow. We'll just say that there's going to be an introduction on how to use the document. And then we'll have it in for our feedback session. We'll have it in time for that. I'm feeling really comfortable by moving it to where we'll be able to turn it around between the 20th and the 24th pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about all of it. I just don't think there's much other than our little issue about ballot measures. I don't see there's anything that people are going to be objecting to. We're loosening things up in general and providing guidance personally. I think we're pretty good. So action items. Tom, you have a couple of editing things. I have some stuff on updating, and you and Wyatt and Susan, you have your action item on just those 2 links.
Yeah,
And
I'll email them to Tom.
And thank you for promoting the meeting tomorrow. I hope we get people.
Yeah, I just posted it 15 minutes ago on Nest.
Oh, thank you.
And I took a
Great.
screenshot of the box. And so
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
so it's
Good.
up.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And I think Candace is involved with road, the midnight pavers, and hopefully we can get them there also.
Yeah.
Okay. Public comment. Chad, you've been sitting there patiently, hopefully listening to all of our talking. Is there anything you would like to share? We love to hear from you. You can put in the chat. You could turn off your microphone. If you're trying to talk, please turn off your microphone or turn on your microphone. You're muted. All right. Well, hearing none, we are adjourned at 11:04. Look at that, people.
Well done.
It's at its best.
You are the best, you guys. Thank you so much. And we will see you tomorrow, hopefully. But then also to give Chris some time tomorrow, I think it's going to be a pretty brief presentation. If there's any part of it any of you would like to give, let me know. I'm happy to share the presentation. Otherwise, it's going to be just kind of a quickie get through it. But obviously speak up if you have anything to say while we're talking tomorrow. And then that way, because I think Chris is he's planning 20 minutes to talk and 10 minutes of Q&A, but based on what happened at the community plan meeting, it could go on a while. So, and it's very interesting stuff. So
I can't wait to hear. I mean, because just in general, our roads, I can't wait to dial in.
Yeah, and then having this 20-year thing too, it's kind of an important time.
Yeah, and by the way, the community plan committee seems to be inclined towards advocating one-way roads. So you might want to start attending that if you wanted to lobby against that.
Oh, I'll have to talk to you to find out more because
Okay.
Yeah,
or listen to is the video up?
it is. It's
Okay.
up.
Yeah. But that's,
Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not. I can send you a link.
Oh,
It's not
that'd be
up
awesome, Nancy.
yet,
Yeah, because
or
I
I'll
did
ask.
miss that latest community plan, and if it impacts the village, people in the village will definitely want to be aware of what,
Yeah,
listen to the video at least.
I'll send Candace a note and ask her to put it up because I did notice it's not up yet. She's been really good at doing it, um, but the thought behind it was that having one-way streets would allow more room for bicyclists and pedestrians.
Tom,
Was
does the fire department, have they made any input on that?
I doubt it.
there's been
Probably.
discussion of getting them involved. To my knowledge, there's been no action for that.
Okay.
Would this have been the most recent community plan meeting then?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it was the one
Yeah,
on the 26th,
yeah,
5th.
yeah.
It was this past week, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll definitely, that's definitely something that I will pass around once I have a link because I know some people that are, you know, have concerns.
Yeah, no, there's still going to be a lot of opportunity,
Yeah,
but
that's
if
great.
they come tomorrow to the meeting, you'll be able to talk to Chris directly
Well,
about it
yeah,
too.
but I'm giving them less than 24 hours notice. So, I mean, that's kind of a push
And
on a
then
Super Bowl weekend.
he will also talk about the meeting on April 8th between
Okay.
5:30 and 7:30. That's only for
5
Nesquin.
April
Uh,
8th. Let me put that on my calendar right now.
yeah, and
April.
it's being run by the roads, by his department and
Okay.
OSHA. It's apparently an OSHA plan. So
Okay, and it's a Nestwin only roads
mhm.
meeting.
So
5:30.
he'll talk about that
Okay.
tomorrow, I'm sure too.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I kind of put him on the spot in the community plan meeting. Would you be willing to come to our meeting? You know?
No, that's
He's going,
awesome.
well, I don't know. I've got something else. I don't know. But he did. He came back and said, fine.
It has such an ability to draw people because roads, especially with the I know Cascade Head partially is in Lincoln County, but coming over back and forth over that and watching the progress has been quite fascinating and also concerning.
Right,
I
right.
mean,
And
Yeah.
and by the way, I have not officially adjourned the meeting because we're still talking.
is that
Anyway,
okay? I don't know if it needs.
no, it's fine. We're
Okay,
recording. It's
yeah,
fine. I just realized I think I had adjourned
yeah.
and then we kept talking. So I'm unadjourning us. But this is all kind of separate anyway. But one other thing Sarah mentioned is when I was going through the presentations, at meetings and poor Alex, is having to do both vice chairperson and chairperson and
Yeah.
all this. And she said, well, I have a whole list of great presentation speakers that could come in and talk about all sorts of interesting things to the community. She said, I'll send that out to Alex. So
Oh, that's
so
so
and
good.
she rattled off a whole bunch of them. So that would be great. I mean, they all sounded really interesting. So yeah, I think that would be great if. I mean, maybe we should have just meetings that are not even meetings, just for presentations. So she had a whole ton of them.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, that sounds awesome.
yeah, it was a good meeting. So
Yeah,
okay,
Nancy, here, the second landslide area, I don't know if you've been down recently or up recently, I should say, but it's actively still sliding under the road. We're down to
oh,
one lane and two of the lanes are completely in the ravine.
oh my
So
goodness,
it's one lane both directions and you can see over the edge.
that's
Yeah.
the part that's close to Cascade Head, right?
It's the furthest up to the summit. They've basically done a great job of repairing the lower massive landslide, which was the major landslide when it happened. But
Yeah,
now further up, going towards Nesquin, it's not good.
Yeah.
no,
That's
no,
how that's marker 101 is where while they were attending to the worst slide, the one that was not as bad deteriorated to the point where it was worse than the original one.
Mhm.
We began to lose yesterday, day before yesterday, we began to lose the one lane that we had left.
Oh my goodness. So,
There's major cracks in the asphalt, in the lane
so,
that we were meant to go in.
so Chris will, I'm sure, be addressing that tomorrow too.
Yeah,
I
because
think he could end up taking the whole meeting tomorrow.
Well,
So,
no, those are not county
which,
roads, though.
what's that?
That's a US
Well,
highway.
that's true, but he talks about that too. So,
Yeah.
he's not responsible, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's definitely
I mean,
Goodness.
scary.
they even stopped the traffic for a while because it was so problematic and concerning.
Wow.
So no
Wow.
one could go anywhere. They had to back down and go Slab Creek Road.
Oh,
Wow.
God.
Wow. Wow. Well, on that fun note, sorry that you guys are having to deal with all that. That was awful. We have one little area that slid in our area, and there's this automatic flag thing, the light that senses you're there some of the time, and some of the time it doesn't, and you sit there forever until there's this long line. And
Oh,
there's just enough where you can't see around the corner if somebody's coming or not, although I think people kind of creep along, but yeah, those kinds of things are not fun, but it's just a minor road. It's not Highway 101. So anyway, you guys, thanks for everything. Just terrific group. I've always enjoyed talking with each of you and individually and in the meetings. And thank you. We're nearing the end, I think. We have
yeah.
a few
Awesome.
activities, but we're nearing the end for this year. So all right, take care. I'm now adjourning the meeting at 11:12.
Still early.
Still early, so let me stop
Okay.
recording.